Game 7 of the NBA Finals. What else could you ask for as a fan of the NBA and a fan of this Thunder team? I've got Alex Caruso here alongside me. And AC, I mean, as competitors, this is the moment that you all live for. Tell me about what you're feeling coming into this game, and just this understanding that, if you'd said at the beginning of the season, this is what we could have in front of us, that you take that deal every time.
Yeah, 100%. We got a chance to go out and be world champions tonight. That's what we wanted to do at the beginning of the year. Internally, we talked about it. Put a lot of work in over the season, through the playoffs, even through the series, just to get to this point and to grow and to be a good enough team to be able to have this opportunity. So, yeah, we're obviously excited. You're feeling the full swing of emotions. You're anxious to get it going. You're excited to play. You're really just trying to get into the routine as much as possible. And I think we had a good shoot around today, and I think we started off the day on the right path.
Yeah, you're talking about the sort of the routine-based nature of it. Having this at home is something that you all have earned. The chance to go to your practice facility and have your normal day and eat your normal food. How much do you, maybe to some degree, feel like, okay, this is what the regular season was for, this is what we work towards to be able to earn this right in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, through like we said, through putting the work in during the year, you win a bunch of games, and you get this this privilege to play, decisive games at home. We saw with Denver, and then we got another one here. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a compliment to the regular season we put together. The depth we have on the team, the competitiveness, like you said, 1 through 17 on the team, just to be ready to go. Luckily we're here, like you said, sleeping in our own bed, eating our own food, and playing in front of our fans.
How do you approach just sort of the previous 6 games here? To some degree, what happened already doesn't matter, but I know there are probably some scouting things that you want to try to get into the game as much as you are trying to stay present.
Yeah, I think this game just comes down to who can, play their brand of basketball the best. I think when we're pressuring on defense, covering for each other, moving the ball on offense, playing fast, that's when we're at our best. So looking forward to trying, going out there and bringing our best to the table when we need it.
Seemed like Game 5 here in OKC, you all were first to contact defensively. You're extremely aggressive. Felt like out of bounds and midcourt line were like the 6th and 7th defenders for you all. How critical is that in this matchup to make sure that they're feeling you all from the second that they cross half court?
Yeah, it's important just because of the pace they like to play with. They like to create space, separation, play off of bodies. So eliminating that as much as possible is, 1, good for us, but 2, puts them into uncomfortable and I think unfamiliar situations than they're used to.
And how about offensively for you all? It seemed like when that ball's been zipping around, you've been able to kind of get 2 on the ball and play out of that. It's been really effective for you all in this series.
Yeah, just winning collisions, winning the point of the screen on both ends of the floor, but especially offensively, and then making the right reads. If they're uptight, make the drive and go score. If they're off, make the extra pass, trust your teammate.
There's been a symbiotic relationship between this team and the fans at Paycom Center. You are a massive portion of that. What's your maybe anticipation, excitement for the way that this crowd can get involved in the game tonight and be a part of what's hopefully a victory for you all?
Yeah, I mean, they've been involved all year, all postseason. So I kind of, I know what the benchmark is, and I know that they'll, have the energy for us when we need it, and then we'll provide the energy for them whenever we have it for them. Yeah.
Nice back and forth between you all. Good luck out there tonight in Game 7, Alex. Congratulations on the season so far, and hopefully you all are able to get one more here tonight.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.
That's Alex Caruso. I'm Nick Gallo, and this is Thunder Basketball. When you have 6 games to kind of look at, how do you all prioritize, here are the key things that we've got to be focused on that matter, and maybe leave the rest to the side?
You just kind of look at what's been consistent throughout the 6, and then everything else you kind of throw away. If you try and every game is so different. If you try and pick apart every little thing of each game, you're never gonna figure out a solution. So a lot of it is just seeing what's been consistent, what's consistently worked, and then what hasn't, and then you kind of go from there and pick your poison after that.
What do you sort of feel has consistently worked? And I guess, is there a middle ground between what you guys did in Game 5 and what you guys did in Game 6?
Staying true to our identity has worked pretty consistently. And when we let up off on that, that's when I wouldn't say struggle, but we're not at our best. So just getting back to who we are and the energy we have offensively and defensively, I think takes us a long way. And when we don't have that, we don't play well.
Chat has talked all week about sort of trying to take the emotions out of this. How difficult has that been, and do you feel like you guys have done that well?
We've done good. I mean, we've had to win some pretty gutsy ones. You know, we've had to win bounce back ones. We've had to win down on the road when it looked like we were going to go down 3-1. Like, so we've done a good job of taking a lot of the emotion out of it. I think the hardest part is trying not to look ahead. Now, obviously, it's a little easier because, you know, it's just one game. And so you're so focused on this game, nothing else is really like in the way. So that's how I look at it. And then, I don't know, me personally, I just try and like go home and just chill and try and do anything peaceful before I like start playing.
What's your last word?
I watch Love Island.
Before Game 4 in Minnesota, you said we just have to focus on the little details that have made us great all year. What would have been some of those little details that you feel like you can reattach to throughout this playoff run?
I don't want to like give away like game plan and stuff, but just like our competitive level defensively is like our identity. And I think sometimes, I wouldn't say sometimes, I think just like from last game, like we just didn't have it. Like we dropped off, and they're really good offensively. And when you have these small drop-offs, all it takes is like, you know, a big run or even like a small run. And then, you know, you're playing from behind the rest of the game, and it's hard to get the car back on the road when you're down already. So that was kind of our big message for that. But in general, it's just like our competitiveness has to juice up a little bit.
Does it feel any different coming into the building this morning?
Yeah.
Take me through that. Just
Well, first, it's our last game of the season, which is kind of, it's a little weird. This is like my first time knowing it's our last game of the season, like regardless of what's going on. So I think that's been a little weird. I don't know if eerie is the right word, but like it's hard not to like look back at the season and like realize how long you've been playing. And like I'm getting like memories on my phone now from like what I was doing last year, and it's like it's very different. I think I was in like Paris 2 years ago right now, and this time last year I was like with my brother during the draft. So like it's very weird to like being here knowing this is our last game regardless, win or lose.
Having the opportunity to play your last game of the season in front of your home crowd, just what does that mean for this group?
It's special, very on brand. I feel like just with how our season went, it's cool to like finish out in front of our fans for sure, and hopefully we finish out the right way.